The galaxy stood on the edge of war. Fleets gathered near borders, old alliances broke apart, and every empire sharpened its weapons. But in every council chamber, in every war room, one silent fear echoed louder than all others. The humans must not send their battleships. For centuries, humanity had been a strange presence in the galaxy. Once mocked as weak, late to the stars, and hopeless dreamers, the humans endured every insult. They were called fragile. They were called fools. But then, little by little, the laughter died. Because stories began to spread. Stories no one could prove, but no one could ignore. Stories of human battleships. They were rarely seen. Some claimed they were myths, weapons invented to scare children. But those who had witnessed them spoke with trembling voices. A single ship that could silence entire fleets. A vessel so large, so advanced, that no empire dared to face it head-on. Some said they vanished into the void and reappeared like shadows. Others swore they carried weapons that tore through shields as if they were made of glass. No one knew the truth, and perhaps that was why the fear was stronger. In the Dominion of Vayar, the High Council argued about the coming war. One admiral slammed his fist against the table. "We can defeat the Kareth Confederacy easily," he growled, "but only if Earth stays out, if the humans bring their battleships." He trailed off, his voice fading. The council fell silent. No one wanted to finish his sentence. They all knew what it meant. On the trade routes of the core, smugglers whispered to one another. "I saw it," one said, his eyes wide. A black ship, larger than a city, drifting above the clouds of a forgotten world. It didn't move, it didn't speak, but when a pirate fleet attacked, it opened fire once. Only once. And there was nothing left of them. The others laughed nervously, but their laughter sounded hollow. Because deep down, they believed him. Even pirates, the boldest hunters of the stars, spoke of humans with fear. They avoided the edges of human space, not because of Earth's colonies. They were small, fragile, easy prey, but because of what might be waiting above them. Because of the battleships. And so, across the galaxy, an unspoken rule was born. Fight anyone, challenge anyone, but never call for the humans. But the storm of war was building, and the galaxy could not stop it. Old grudges rose again. Empires gathered their fleets. Planets armed their defenses. The Zorath Collective promised victory, their leaders boasting of their massive war machines. The Alari Dominion declared they would crush their enemies with endless waves of ships. Yet even as they spoke proudly, they prayed the same desperate prayer, that Earth would remain silent, that humanity would not unleash its battleships, because the galaxy had learned one truth. When those ships arrived, the war was already over. In the mining colonies of the Rim, workers told stories around their fires. They spoke of battles fought in the past where fleets of hundreds had vanished in the dark. "The records say it was pirates," one miner whispered. "But my grandfather told me it was humans. One ship. Just one. And the battle was finished before it began." In the academies of the Corps, young cadets studied tactics and war strategies, but their teachers reminded them with stern voices. All plans fail when human battleships arrive. The only true defense is to pray they never appear. And still, the galaxy laughed quietly, nervously, pretending the fear was only a story. Humans? Some rulers sneered in their palaces. They are only one world. How can one world command so much power? But in their private chambers, their eyes betrayed the truth. They were afraid, terrified, because no one could explain how a single human ship could do what fleets could not. The galaxy had seen many wars. Empires had risen and fallen, but never before had a single name been enough to silence them all. Earth, humanity, the forgotten species that once seemed weak, now cloaked in shadows, holding weapons no one could match. And as fleets moved into position, as soldiers readied themselves for the coming storm, one question spread through every empire, every colony, every battlefield. What will happen if the humans decide to join? For now, the galaxy prepared for war, each side believing it could claim victory. But behind every boast, behind every speech, behind every weapon, one truth haunted them. The storm was coming, and if Earth unleashed its battleships, the storm would not be theirs to control. War was building, and the galaxy knew it. Borders were tightening, fleets were moving, and soldiers were sharpening their blades for battles yet to come. But before the first shot was fired, strange stories began to travel faster than warships. They came in whispers, carried by smugglers, merchants, and travelers who swore they had seen something impossible. At first, the stories were ignored. Rumors always spread before wars, tales of secret weapons, of ancient machines rising from the dark. But these rumors had something different. They always spoke of the same thing: enormous human battleships, seen where no fleet should be. One caravan of traders claimed they passed through the edge of human space and felt as if the stars themselves were watching them. Their scanners showed nothing, but the crew swore they saw the shadow of a giant vessel hidden among the void. "It was larger than anything I have ever seen," one trader whispered. "It moved without moving, and then it was gone." Pirates laughed at first, but laughter turned into silence when entire raiding bands vanished. No distress calls, no debris fields, just silence. The survivors, few and broken, spoke of ships that appeared without warning. They were human, one pirate whispered in a tavern, his voice shaking. "Black as night, with thrusters like suns. We fired everything. We had nothing worked. And then, they ended us with one strike. One." He did not speak again. Soon, the whispers reached the empires. The Zorath Collective dismissed them. The Ilari Dominion mocked them. The Dominion of Vayar called them lies made to frighten cowards. Yet behind closed doors, their admirals reviewed the reports in silence. Because too many fleets were going missing. Too many colonies were going dark. The most chilling rumors came from the frontier colonies of neutral worlds. Farmers spoke of skies darkened by shadows. Miners swore they heard engines echoing deep underground. Children pointed at the stars, claiming they saw giant shapes floating where no light touched them. And always, the shapes vanished before proof could be recorded. On one distant world, a group of settlers sent out a distress call. They reported a fleet of raiders approaching, outnumbering them 10-1. The signal cut off suddenly. When rescuers arrived, they found the raider fleet destroyed. Every ship was torn apart, as if sliced cleanly through by invisible blades. The colony itself was untouched. No human message was left. Only silence, and the wreckage of those who dared attack the Yao. Whispers grew into warnings. In the marketplaces of the core, smugglers began selling fragments of strange metal, dark alloy that hummed faintly when touched. From a human ship, the sellers claimed. Buyers paid fortunes for even the smallest piece. Scientists examined the fragments and admitted reluctantly that they had never seen anything like it. The material was stronger than any alloy in the galaxy. Its purpose? Unknown. But everyone understood what it meant. If this was truly from a human battleship, then the galaxy was already behind. The fear spread further when recordings leaked. A patrol ship from the Confederacy had captured blurred footage of something massive moving through the void. The image was shaky, distorted, but one detail was clear: the outline of a colossal vessel, larger than a city, gliding silently past before vanishing without a trace. The recording spread across the networks, watched by billions. And for the first time, ordinary citizens whispered the words their rulers feared most: "The humans have returned." But no empire dared to say it officially. Admitting it would mean admitting weakness. Admitting it would mean admitting that their fleets, their pride, their power, were nothing against Earth's battleships. So instead, they told their people not to fear, not to believe in ghost stories. But even as they spoke, their own soldiers were whispering in the barracks. Their own scouts were refusing to patrol near human borders. Their own generals were drawing plans not of attack but of retreat. And then came the story that could not be ignored. A convoy of warships from the Ilari Dominion was sent to guard a border system. 20 ships strong, armed to the teeth. They were confident, certain no ghost could touch them. But they never arrived. Days later, fragments of their fleet drifted into neutral space. Blackened hulls cut clean in half, Weapons melted into slag, and etched into one of the surviving hulls was a single mark, 3 deep scars that no known weapon could have made. The soldiers who examined it swore it looked deliberate, a message. The galaxy trembled. Were the humans watching? Were they warning? No one knew, but everyone understood one truth. The moment human battleships arrived, no war would matter. The battle would already be lost, and as empires prepared for war, their leaders lay awake at night staring at the stars, asking themselves one question: what if the humans are already here? The rumors had shaken the galaxy. Fleets had gone missing. Colonies had fallen silent. Pirate bands had vanished without a trace. And always, in the background, the same whisper followed: the humans are moving their battleships. No one believed it at first. Then too many stories piled up. The leaders of the galaxy tried to keep control, but fear was stronger than politics. War was coming, and everyone knew that if humanity joined, the war would not last long. The Dominion of Vaer was the first to act. Determined to prove the rumors false, they assembled a massive fleet. 200 warships, armored dreadnoughts, sleek cruisers, fast attack ships, all armed and ready. They declared to the galaxy that they would crush the so-called human ghosts. If the humans dare enter this war, their admiral boasted, we will erase them for good. His words carried across the networks, bold and proud. But deep in his eyes, even he carried doubt. The fleet patrolled the border of human space. For days, nothing happened. Their scanners picked up empty skies, cold stars, lifeless void. Some of the younger captains mocked their own crews for trembling. The humans are myths, they laughed. Stories told by cowards. We will wait, and nothing will come. But then, something did. At first it was only a shadow on the scanners, a shape too large, too vague, floating beyond the reach of their instruments. The officers argued it was nothing, maybe an asteroid. Then the shadow moved, slowly, steadily, until the void itself seemed to bend around it, and then they saw it, a battleship, human. It appeared with no warning, no drive signature, no entry flare. One moment the stars were empty. The next, the ship was there. A colossal vessel larger than any dreadnought the galaxy had ever built. Its hull was black, polished like glass, with faint blue lights burning along its surface like veins of fire. It did not move quickly. It did not need to. Its very presence made the Vaeri fleet fall silent. The admiral ordered weapons charged, his voice unsteady. It's only one ship, he said. We have 200. Destroy it. Before his words finished, more appeared. 1, 5, 10, 20. In seconds, the void filled with human warships. Each one colossal, each one silent, each one glowing faintly against the darkness like predators waiting for the kill. The Vaeri fleet panicked. Orders shouted across comms, weapons fired. Beams of plasma and storms of missiles lit up the sky, streaking toward the human fleet. For a moment, the admiral smiled, believing their power would overwhelm. But when the fire cleared, the humans were gone. Not destroyed, gone. The Vaeri sensors scrambled. Alarms wailed. Where are they? Captains screamed. Then, the answer came. Behind them. The humans reappeared in perfect formation, their weapons already firing. Invisible beams cut through armor as if it were air. Entire cruisers split in half, exploding into debris. Dreadnoughts, mighty and ancient, were torn apart with single strikes. The galaxy's most powerful fleet was being dismantled like toys. In a child's hands, the battle was no battle. It was a slaughter. Every time the Vaeri tried to regroup, the humans vanished again. One moment they were ahead, the next behind, then above, then gone. Their weapons struck with precision, never missing, never wasting. The void filled with wreckage, with screams, with silence. Within minutes, half the Vaeri fleet was gone. Then, 3/4. Then, almost all. The survivors fled, their engines burning hot, desperate to escape. But the humans were faster. They appeared in their path, blocking every route, every escape. The Vayari screamed, begged, fired blindly. Nothing worked, and then, as suddenly as it began, the humans stopped. The last few surviving ships, crippled, broken, terrified, were allowed to crawl back to their empire. Allowed, not spared. Because the humans wanted their story to spread, and it did. When the survivors returned, their faces pale, their voices shaking, the galaxy heard their tale. They spoke of ships that appeared from nowhere, of weapons that cut through the strongest armor, of a fleet that moved like shadows. But what terrified them most was not the power, not the destruction. It was the silence. The humans had not spoken a single word. No threats, no warnings, no boasts, only silence. The galaxy listened, and in that silence, they understood the truth. The moment human battleships arrived, the war was already lost. The Biuk wreckage of the Vayari fleet floated like a graveyard across the stars. 200 warships had gone to prove humanity weak, and now almost none had returned. Those who survived came back broken, ships scarred, crews trembling, voices shaking as they repeated the same words. The battleships appeared, and there was nothing we could do. The galaxy listened, and in the silence that followed, fear spread deeper than ever before. For days, humanity remained quiet. Their battleships vanished back into the void, leaving only rumors and wreckage behind. No message, no declaration, nothing but silence. It was the silence that unsettled the galaxy most of all, because conquerors always spoke, tyrants always demanded, but the humans simply appeared, destroyed, and disappeared again. In the core, the Council of Nine Suns gathered in their fortress station, a city of steel floating above a burning star. It was the most secure place in the galaxy, protected by fleets, shields, and weapons capable of ending worlds. No enemy had ever breached its walls. No intruder had ever reached its chambers. The rulers of the galaxy believed they were safe, until the humans arrived. No alarms sounded. No scanners detected movement. One moment, the void outside their glass chamber was empty. The next, a human battleship hovered there, its dark hull glowing faintly against the star's light. Silent, immovable. Waiting panic erupted in the chamber. Guards shouted, leaders screamed, alarms blared. But before anyone could act, a voice filled the hall. Calm, cold, human. We warned you. The rulers froze. The voice carried no emotion, yet it cut through them like a blade. You laughed at us, you called us weak, you told the galaxy Earth was gone, you forgot us. The chamber fell into silence. Even the proudest leaders, those who mocked Earth for centuries, sat trembling. But we are not gone. We are here. The words echoed, heavy, undeniable. The rulers shifted nervously, their eyes fixed on the massive ship outside. You watched. Our battleships arrive. You saw your fleets fall. You know the truth now. When our ships join a fight, the fight is already finished. The leaders exchanged fearful glances. A Zorath general, his pride wounded, tried to speak. What do you want from us? His voice cracked halfway through the question. For a moment, there was silence. Then the human voice answered, We want nothing. We do not seek your thrones. We do not seek your worlds. We do not seek your gold. We came only to remind you. Earth bows to no one. The chamber shook with the weight of the words. You thought us weak because we were silent. You thought us gone because we did not fight. But all this time we were building. All this time we were waiting. And now we are ready. The rulers leaned forward, unable to breathe. You may fight your wars. You may spill your blood. But remember this truth. The moment Earth's battleships arrive, your war is already over. The chamber stayed frozen in silence. No one dared to move. No one dared to answer. The human ship lingered for a moment longer, as if daring the galaxy's rulers to act. No weapons fired. No words followed. And then, in the blink of an eye, it vanished into the void, leaving nothing but fear behind. The council erupted in chaos. Some leaders screamed for war, demanding that humanity be destroyed. Before it grew stronger, others begged for peace, insisting they must kneel before Earth. But beneath all the shouting, every single one of them knew the truth. The galaxy no longer held the power. Earth did. Across the stars, the words spread. Citizens whispered them. Soldiers repeated them. Children learned them as warnings. When the human battleships arrive, the war is already lost. The words of Earth echoed across the stars, heavier than any weapon, sharper than any blade. When our ships join a fight, the fight is already finished. No empire dared to laugh anymore. The joke was gone. The fear was real. For centuries, Earth had been dismissed as nothing, a small blue planet on the edge of the galaxy, forgotten, mocked, erased from history books. But now, every world, every fleet, every council knew the truth. Humanity had not died. Humanity had not been erased. Humanity had been waiting, and waiting had made them unstoppable. The Dominion of Vaar, humiliated and broken, tried to recover. Their leaders shouted for vengeance, but their admirals whispered the truth. No fleet could stand against the battleships. Soldiers deserted in droves. Colonies trembled at shadows in the sky. The proud Dominion was now a crippled beast, roaring loudly but too afraid to move. The Zorath Collective, once feared across the stars, now lived in silence. Their generals, who once mocked humans, now refused to even speak the word Earth. Their fleet stayed close to home, their commanders too frightened to patrol far, for they believed, as all did now, that at any moment a human battleship could appear above them, and when it did, nothing could save them. The Ilari Dominion chose submission. They sent gifts. They sent envoys. They begged for treaties. But the humans never replied. Not with words, not with ambassadors. They did not need to. Their silence was louder than any declaration, and that was the most terrifying thing. Because humanity did not conquer. Humanity did not demand. Humanity did not shout. They only appeared, destroyed what they wished, and vanished again. That silence spread deeper fear than fire ever could. On distant colonies, children grew up learning a new rule. Never pray for human help, for if their battleships arrive, the war is already over. Merchants swore they saw giant shadows drifting, near trade routes, black ships that followed for hours before fading into the void. Soldiers on frontier posts claimed to hear strange signals in the night, short bursts of static like whispers. No translation was needed. Everyone knew who it was. Earth had become the shadow in the galaxy's mind. In the halls of power, leaders spoke carefully, weighing every word, fearful of drawing attention. Old enemies who once fought each other now hesitated, for they knew the same truth. Whichever side brought in Earth would decide the war instantly. But worse, if Earth chose to act on its own, the war would never even begin. It was no longer the age of the empires. It was no longer the age of loud fleets and endless battles. It was now something else, a new age. An age of fear, an age of silence, an age of humanity. And somewhere, deep in the shadows of forgotten systems, the battleships waited. Dark giants, of steel, engines glowing softly, weapons ready but silent. They did not need to move fast. They did not need to show themselves. The galaxy already knew the truth. Once the humans came, resistance was useless, for the galaxy had finally learned. The moment human battleships arrive, the war is already lost, and in the endless night of space a single human voice whispered once more, carried across the void without origin, without trace. We are here. This time, no empire argued. This time, no admiral mocked. This time, the galaxy listened, and the galaxy bowed.